Later that year, Border Force intercepted a second package, this time marked as a car positioning wheel dolly, containing 7.89 kilograms of cocaine. Schwartz's double life came crashing down in September 2016, as he and then-fiancée Sarah Wakefield boarded a flight. The Silverwater Correctional Complex, where Schwartz was found last month. Kate Geraghty, the pediatric nurse, watched on in horror as Schwartz was pulled off a plane and remanded into custody 2 weeks before the pair were due to marry. She has not seen him since. Snitch. Schwartz was to spend 4 years inside the Silverwater Correctional Complex after he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of importing a commercial quantity of cocaine. In jail, he suffered badly. A 2016 newspaper report that incorrectly labeled him an executive for Rio Tinto resulted in another inmate trying to extort $15,000, then $30,000 out of him. Some of the drugs police allege Schwartz imported to Australia via DHL. When Schwartz didn't pay, he was set upon by another inmate with a Breville sandwich maker, in an attack so brutal he permanently lost hearing in one ear. So-called 3 LA powers meant Schwartz was compelled to give investigators the password to his encrypted BlackBerry Phantom, leading to an erroneous TV report that he had snitched in 2017. The label of police informant stuck, and Schwartz was stabbed by another inmate, leaving him with PTSD that would continue after he walked out of Silverwater on parole in August 2020. The pushers, the pullers and Mustafa Balak, where are we sending dummy from? An N0M user named AnyBreak asked in April last year. Greece seems good to go again, he texted later that day. Police say that AnyBreak was Schwartz, and the dummy in question was a precursor to the 27 kilograms of cocaine, 48.6 kilograms of methamphetamine, and 8 kilograms of heroin that he and his co-conspirators allegedly imported from Greece and the UK last year. Investigators say that Schwartz positioned himself as something of an advisor to several of the transnational crime syndicates blown up by the N0M sting last year that led to hundreds of arrests across the globe, including one of his alleged co-conspirators, Mustafa Balak. The Bayview restaurateur made national headlines and sparked an international manhunt when he cut off his ankle bracelet while on bail for allegedly importing 900 kilograms of cocaine to Australia from Ecuador. Mustafa Balak was extradited from Queensland after a 2-week manhunt. Brooke Mitchell. Mr. Balak was discovered sitting in a Mercedes inside a shipping container on the back of a truck crossing into Queensland last year, and is yet to enter a plea to a slew of charges. He remains before the courts. Detectives say the two met in prison and exchanged letters after they were freed. Schwartz claimed to have a trusted Border Force insider who would ensure packages concealing drugs would pass through customs unbothered. An investigation unearthed no evidence of this. Rather, police believe that Schwartz was big-noting himself to create the impression he was indispensable and was instead reliant on something that had served him in the past, obsessively checking the DHL website. Schwartz tracked over 100 consignments, a number of which contained drugs hidden in TV brackets or clay pots, and checked on one package 167 times. Schwartz, whose own messages are not pictured, was one of hundreds of alleged criminals communicating on N0M. Schwartz allegedly advised the syndicate on the weight of packages, how to conceal cocaine, and DHL's turnaround and processing times, as well as pushes people who get the shipments of drugs into the air freight system and the pullers who remove it. He was speaking to lots of people, lots of different syndicates. He was respected, he had his craft down. But if his business model was quite simply just checking the DHL systems, he knew that really well. And he just communicated that knowledge on, said the Federal Police's Detective Sergeant Brendan Basford, one of the officers involved in arresting Schwartz at his Double Bay home in October last year. It's been 2 months. Please help. Back in prison, Schwartz was in agony. Without his medication or a visit from a doctor, he began to ask for help that would never come. Please, I have bad PTSD, stuck in quarantine and night terrors getting worse, he wrote on a request for medication in early November. Loading, he filled out requests the next 2 days, then every second day the following week. On November 25th, he wrote, "Family has sent in my prescription and psych report 3 times, but no one has spoken to me. I need help." On December 8th, he wrote that his PTSD is out of control and unbearable, and complained of nightmares. "I need to see a psych and have not been given my medication. It's been 2 months. Please help." He pleaded for help again in January, describing night terrors, can't remember things, flashbacks in shower. A last-ditch attempt at securing Schwartz's freedom in the Supreme Court last month heard that his anxiety was almost palpable. He had received absolutely no assistance for his severe mental health issues, but was inexplicably offered treatment for arthritis, his barrister Grant Brady SC said. He did not have arthritis. Loading Schwartz's mother Laylee was so desperate to free him, she bet her $4.5 million Paddington home of 39 years on him not skipping town. While he was in jail the first time, Laylee had found a rat inside an envelope on her doorstep one morning, and had received threatening texts. Schwartz also offered to forfeit $100,000 in cash if he failed to appear. But Crown lawyers argued that Mr. Ballack absconded despite a $4 million surety, and because Mr. Ballack and Schwartz were allegedly connected to the same criminal syndicate, the latter may have the same criminal associations available to similarly attempt to flee. It wasn't until February 16th, nearly 4 months after he walked into Silverwater, that Schwartz got a visit from a psychologist. It was fleeting, and no medication was prescribed for logistical and medical reasons. 2 days later, Supreme Court Justice Mark Yerris SC said he was satisfied that Justice Health would provide Schwartz with the medication and psychological treatment he had requested. Justice Yerris refused bail, but Schwartz would never receive the promised treatment. On the morning of February 19th, he was found alone in his single maximum security cell. The coroner will investigate the cause of